G'day, Chris here from the PPC Outdoors. Today we're going to do a hunt pack dump, so stay tuned. So depending on the size hunt we're deciding on doing, whether it's 5 days, 3 days, or an overnighter, depends on what we take. So we've got a couple of different options. We've got the 50 litre pack, which we sometimes use. If we're packing out a little bit longer, and it's a bit longer of a hike, take the trusty old hike pack. Recently have come across this new Ridgeline pack from our friends over at Zip Tack Outdoors. This is a great bag. This is more for that day hunt. But what we find is we spend a lot of time setting up the truck and then heading from there, that sort of 6 to 20 kilometer type hunt. And recently I've moved into the Hunter's Element Divide Belt Pack. This provides basically everything I need without being too heavy, but also provides me with the gear that I need to get everything done. So I'm going to go through this now, show you what's in the pack, and what we'll do is in the next video we'll actually do a review on this pack itself. Okay, so basically for management, I generally do use the harness. It just gives a little bit of stability when moving through the bush. It is not necessary, you can use it just as a regular bum bag, but I tend to like that. I'll go into it a little bit more in the review, but personally, being 6'2" and about 116 kilos, I find this is a little bit too short, but I have reached out to Hunter's Element and they may potentially be making a bigger one for you big blokes out there. So yeah, watch this space on that. But yeah, I tend to use the harness. Now I'll do a quick dump. So first and foremost, we've got our Garmin Rhino. That's the Rhino 700. We always keep that with us, obviously for GPS, for communication, and for just general mapping and knowing and texting to each other in the group. Again, for safety's sake, we got the PLB always with us. Even on the short hunts, we keep those with us just for safety. As you should always carry, we've got the old R license there, and a whistle and small light. That just gives it a little bit of extra comfort from the safety point of view. You've got another little pocket here, which I basically put my my food in there, small snacks and whatnot. In here, again, this may be a little bit of overkill for a 6 to 20k hike, but when something goes wrong, and hopefully it never does, you want to be prepared. So I have the Life Straw Flex. Now that actually has the rubberized squish bottle and the small Sawyer size filter. It's just super handy. Gives you a nice unit to actually hold the water, and then you can either filter it out into another bottle or keep it as is. I'll probably do a review on that at some stage as well. In this main pocket, I run a bit of an all bag. What is in here is basically safety and survival type stuff, but because it's only for short hikes, we generally just keep it pretty minimal. So what you'll find in here is some fire starting gear, in here some ointments and cream, some stingos, some chapsticks, some antiseptic cream, that sort of thing. And then in this main pocket here is the first aids. Again, pretty straightforward. You've got some snake bandages, you've got some band-aids, some tablets and whatnot, just to sort of get you through until you can get back to the truck where the main first aid kit would be. Up next, got about 15 meters of paracord in here. Keep it nice and bright just so we can always see it, but that's can be used for thousands of things, so always good to have with you. Got a game bag. It's just one, but obviously if we do come across anything, and if we do harvest it on the spot, we utilize that, and that works in conjunction with this Hunter's Element bluff bag that fits on the back, and I'll show you how I mount that on my back when I'm using this particular rig. Again, not necessary, but just as a backup, I've got a spare pair of Hunter's Element light gloves, just to give it, a little bit of extra warmth if need be, and just a camo buff. Now that obviously can be used as a head wrap, as a buff in the traditional sense, or to filter water. Again, can be used for many things. Always worth having. The next item I have is the Elk Ridge harvest knife. Now what I've done is I've actually wrapped that with, I don't know, maybe about 10 meters of electrical tape. Again, nice and brightly colored. That can be used for many things, whether for first aid or, to hold something onto your rifle, whatever it may be. Always good to have some electrical tape with you. Now, the cool thing about this knife, now I got this from our mates over at Zip Tac Outdoors. Go and check those guys out. They are fantastic. They've got a great range, and we buy most of our stuff from them. So definitely go check out Zip Tac Outdoors. Now, the thing I like about this knife is it comes with a couple of different blades. Now you've got obviously your traditional blade, obviously locking blade, so that's really nice. Comes in the blaze, which obviously when you're working out in the bush, you want to make sure you can see stuff. It does come in, I believe it comes in black, but also does come in a camo style as well. But the cool thing about this is you can actually swap out the blades. So other options that come with it are the gut hook. And it's quite simple. You actually just put down this little lever, which opens it up a little bit. Obviously be careful using blades. Then that locks into place, and then to release, you push that down, release it there. And then you've got your bone saw as well, which is super handy. So that all in one, you keep with you at all times. It's a great little knife, and it's served us quite well. In these side pockets here, I keep a sharpener. This is probably a bit bulky for what's necessary, but it comes with a couple of different accessories, and then obviously the sharpener itself is pretty light, so I don't mind carrying that. And then I just keep a pull through in there, just if there's any debris that does get into my rifle barrel. Having said that, 9 times out of 10 I will go through the bush with a water balloon on top of my muzzle, so that keeps it nice and dry for the most part, but that's always just there as a backup. And then I just keep some rounds in there as spares. And in this side, I just keep waterproof headlamp, always good, on those early mornings or late evening hunts. And again, from our friends over at Zip Tac, we've got a little snake bite kit and, some talking points, if anyone does get bitten by a snake, just a little checklist, a reminder of what to do. And then finally, the most important thing when going into the bush, the all-important water. Now I use, along with the life straw, I use just a 1 litre Nalgene bottle. This thing is indestructible, stands out because it doesn't blend in with the environment, BPA free, so don't have to worry about all that sort of stuff. And then what I've done is I've retrofitted here a Tasmanian tiger pouch that actually fits it, and I've got it running where you would normally run, say, a rain jacket or something of that nature. But because, as I say, we're pretty close to the truck generally when we go, this is generally a good spot where I keep it, and it doesn't get in the way. And what I'll do next is I'll put it on, show you how I run it, with my bino setup, and how it all looks. Now, as mentioned before, I am a little bit taller and a little bit heavier, so I wear this traditionally higher than most would. It would normally be worn around the waist, but because of my attachment of the water bottle, this actually sits in a really nice spot for me. I'm still able to sit down without it getting in the way, so having it a little bit higher is not really an issue. I mean, yeah, if you did want to sit a bit lower, if you're at my sort of height at about 6'2", these are a little bit short. I have reached out to Hunter's Element to see if they would consider either producing or custom making a slightly longer one, but also would kind of like a bit of a chest strap as well, and even potentially a little bit more padding, but this is more for stability than actual heavy weight. So as it is, it works beautifully. It's really nice, and what I'll do now is I'll put on the binos and show you the full setup. Now again, this is for a shorter hunt, between sort of 6 and 20 Ks, generally from a car base camp type setup. That's obviously with the bino harness and the rangefinder. You see they're sitting there on the back as such, and you can see I keep the Hunter's Element Bluff Pack back here. That serves two purposes. That is a backpack, which I'll pull out in a second, that you can actually carry harvested meat back in one of your game bags, but also it gives you a nice little orange mark on your back. You know, if you're out in the state forest, it gives you a little bit more blaze orange. So this is the Hunter's Element Bluff Pack. This is a great little unit to keep with you. It is actually a fully stocked backpack in this tiny little pouch, which is really, really great for after you've harvested your delicious deer and you want to get that venison back to camp. This is a nice compact way you can carry that meat back. It is actually an airtight bag, so yeah, put it in the game bag, stick it on your back, and away you go. A nice easy bag to pack out your meat while on a hunt. Nice and simple, nice and clean, nice and light. And there you go. If you like what you saw today and you'd like to see more reviews like this, let us know in the comments. Follow us on Instagram, PPC Outdoors. Happy hunting.